Welcome to SnatchTalk. It's finally here, the semi-final of Drag Idol 2022, and we have 7 contestants still in the competition. Lavender Love, Stacey Rhect, Laila Sagittaria, Bonnie and Bendover, Skankii KandL, Titania Gemini, and Mea T Cleaver. Only 4 can make it through to the final at Boulevard next Sunday, so the stakes were high for Prop and Live Week. Regular host Ophelia Balls was indisposed this week, and so it was up to local celebrity and Pride Radio presenter Peter Darrant to take over the reins and introduce our judges, such as Penny T, guest judge Plastique, the raunchy Rusty, and of course it wouldn't be Drag Idol, little dig at you there 2020, without the icon herself, Miss Rory, who had some tips for Live Week.
Well, you can't learn funny for a start, can you? You can't learn it, you can't teach it. But if you feel yourself struggling, just fucking give up, basically.
Before we got started though, we had some contestants to interview. Now, I'd been busy entertaining a room full of rugby players earlier that day, and my cousin Candy was out of town at a jam conference, so I'm afraid reluctantly I had to send my sister Velcro along in my place. We've been working on her communication skills, so let's see how that paid off with an interview with Stacey Rhect, last week's winner.
Don't think she's gonna talk. Hello. Oh. Sorry, it takes me a bit of a while. I'm dyslexic. I chose to travel up from Hull, as we say in Yorkshire. Chose to travel up from Hull because I'm a massive Drag Idol fan. I'm like Gladys. I bloody love it. And yeah, I just thought, you know, like with Drag Race, it's a phenomenon, and I just wanted to be a part of it, put my stamp and my name in the ring. So yes. It's me diva. Next question. You can expect fucking a lot of gobshite from me at Stacey Rhect's show. Give me a bloody microphone and I'll talk your fucking head off. You know what I'm saying, my darling? But also you could just expect a lot of fucking craziness and a lot of swearing. Excuse the language. Sorry, mum. If you are watching, she won't watch. Next question, me diva. Who is my biggest competition? Oh, well, I'd have to say my biggest competition in the comp now. My biggest comp, you're listening, is Miss Bonnie and Bendover and Lavender Love, because they've got more fucking wins than me. Period. Thank you, my darling. We all done? Shouldn't say much, does she? Bloody hell. Welcome to Rhect Talk with me, Stacey Rhect.
Well, after that car crash of an interview, it's time for the performances. Each contestant has to do a 3-minute number with their given prop, and then immediately follow it with 3 minutes of live speaking on the mic. Skankii KandL was up first with the prop of a top hat. Skankii took us through a mesmerising medley of tracks, from The Greatest Showman through Britney to even putting on the Ritz, all punctuated with her wonderful dance skills. While it wasn't perfect, there was a lot here, and so much visible effort had gone into it, including the use of props and not 1 but 2 party poppers. She's told me since that she actually had more tricks up her sleeve, but didn't get to use them all. Our first live, however, was slightly less organised. Taking up the mic, Skankii was audibly out of breath from her performance. As Chris Howe rolled out a twister mat prop, Skankii handed out her own brand Skankii candles to the judges and called up an audience member to play. It was awkward and confusing as the joke or point of the twister game seemed to be lost, but honestly, nobody seemed to mind. I wonder why. Oh, that's right. Where was I again? Oh yes, Skankii improvised a lot and seemed nervous but did well, running out of material and just counting out her remaining time at the end, which garnered a lot of laughs.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17,
Skankii KandL!
Penny was the first judge to give feedback, saying that while the Human Centipede was her best number, this was her best solo number, and she used the prop well. It dipped for the live section, but she loved the counting at the end. Plastique and Rory felt that the song choices were a bit predictable, but Rusty pointed out that while she played it safe with the song choices, she played to her own strengths. The only real criticism was that at one point during Twister, Skankii obscured the view. Spicy! Laila Sagittaria was next, with her prop of a giant cardboard rainbow. What would she do with it? Well, I sent my idiot sister to try and find out. Are you actually going to try and talk this time, Velcro?
Does anyone speak freak?
You speak free? Oh yeah, I do. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Has Drag Idol taken you out of your comfort zone?
100%. Since week 3, I'd say, when I pushed myself, well, me and Stacey pushed myself out the box, I've just been having fun every single week. Especially this week with my live. I'm nervous, but it's something I'm not expecting. Last week I did comedy. Rory even said that she couldn't even think of what I did. I was like, what? I was like, can you just say that 10 times over? 10 times over. But yeah, I'm really happy with how I've grown in Drag Idol. Very grateful for it.
Yeah, so lots of friendships are made during
Yeah.
Drag Idol. Who is the best friend that you've made and why?
100% Stacey Rhect. I'm obsessed. Oh, there she is. I love her to death. Since week 3, we've just blossomed. Stayed in a hotel past 3 weeks. Getting ready together. I love her to death. We even want to move in together at some point because she wants to move to Newcastle, which she should. So I think we're gonna try and get something together because I love the bones off her.
It's lovely.
Well, she gives me the finger.
Yeah. Okay. So, the community has started a fundraiser for you for your hormone replacement therapy. How is it going? How does that feel?
It's going incredible. So I for years I've been trying to go without doing a GoFundMe because I wanted to try and do it on my own, but I realised that I needed help. So I set one up, and it is just skyrocketed and just the most. Like, I'm just so grateful for everything that the scene's done for me. Like, I've got a true family here, and I'm just, yeah, I don't want to get emotional about it, but you know, but yeah, I'm just extremely lucky to have the friends and family that I've got here. I really am.
Thank you.
Anything? No, okay.
Oh, just when I thought I'd pushed you down the stairs enough as a child. Laila's performance was inspirational, using her rainbow to represent both the National Health Service of Britain and the LGBT+ community, stepping out in a shroud of the stigma attached to trans people and the struggle they face trying to get treatment under the current system. It was a touching and at times funny performance about Laila's journey into hormone therapy, and oh my lord does she love her some of those hormones. I've heard they're pretty Moorish. They'd done their job though, and Laila was able to cast off her stigmatized shell and reveal her true self, maybe revealing a bit too much at first. For how good the performance was, however, the live was the unexpected surprise, with Laila taking to the mic like an absolute pro.
Can you please make me sound good, or I will say you're transphobic? Thank you.
It wasn't all sunshine and, well, rainbows, however, as the infamous switch equipment started to play up, cutting out intermittently. Laila rolled with the punches though and turned the issue into a hilarious running gag.
I think Penny heard I was doing a run. What did I tell you? Some of my sister. Chris! What did I tell you?
She went on to throw some shade at her drag mother, Pebble Dash, the judges, and her fellow contestants.
Stacey is my best friend left in this competition. She won last week.
Laila's live was wonderfully executed, but what do the judges think? Well, Plastique thanked Laila for being in the competition and giving trans representation, describing her energy as so sweet and pure. Rusty described Laila as a pro, giving her a late standing ovation and pointing out that it was her best performance so far, and her stand-up was hilarious. Rory went on to describe Laila as the most unlikely hero in the competition, and going so far as to get up and hug Laila, who was now visibly crying from all the praise she was receiving. Up next were Bonnie and Bend Over with the prop of a pizza. Now, as we'd learned from week 3...
Apparently 90% of co-workers have a sexual attraction towards each other.
Not again! It looked like the love bug had hit the dynamic duo, with them finally going on a date. They were back to their best, with lots of dance sections, song snippets, comedy, and a concise narrative of a night out and eventual trip to a takeaway.
Yeah, I love it.
I'll have a 12-inch Hawaiian.
No.
A 12-inch pepperoni.
No.
12-inch margarita.
Large portion of chips.
Resulting in the aforementioned pizza. Oops. 5-second rule, love. It was brilliantly done as usual, demonstrating the pair's impeccable skill at narratives and editing, but the live was the highlight. Coming prepared for Switch's geriatric mic and speaker system. Seriously, Switch, put your hand in your pocket. I did a gig there earlier in the day for the Newcastle Ravens, and I just had to give up on the mic and just start yelling at a packed bar. The duo had brought their own headset mics, leading into a seamless live section. Rather than doing a basic stand-up, the two threw some casual shade at the judges.
Plastique, you need to look really happy. You know, you've read it from there to there, so it's really happy. Rory, you've got 2 options. Disgusted or bored. Which one's that?
Before going into an absolutely amazing Most Haunted parody. And they were tasked with finding the contestants that had already gone missing from the competition, as well as Judge Ophelia. Through some clever jokes and wonderful audience interaction, we finally had a breakthrough.
Ophelia, if you can hear us, ring the bell.
With it ending in true Most Haunted style. It was phenomenal and felt so professional and so seamlessly put together that it's hard to believe it only took a week to do. The standing ovation from all 4 judges should have said it all, with Rusty saying she was absolutely gobsmacked and that it was phenomenal. Penny and Rory went a step further, describing it as the best live in Drag Idol history and pointing out the amazing connection that the pair have. Even Plastique was lost for words, which honestly is more than enough reason to like Bonnie and Ben more, saying that it was absolutely incredible and bloody brilliant. So, how do you follow that? Well, Lavender Love was up next, following Bonnie and Ben for the 4th time out of 5 weeks, which really suggests that someone's not shaking the box enough. Chris, how? Lavender's prop was a walker, which he'd worked out into a number about benefit fraud, with Lavender staggering onto stage with the walker and leading us on a journey through parody tracks.
Put on my blue tracksuit and I go on a bus. Sat down by the man stinking of stale piss and got up again with minimal fuss.
Pelting the audience with cheap bags of crisps. Clubland anthems. And even using their prop for some choreography that didn't quite go according to plan. It was a really fun concept and a not too obvious use of the prop. The live, however, was where things faltered. The jokes at the judges' expenses didn't really land. And if we've learned anything from Jimmy Carr, it's that Holocaust jokes rarely land well.
Oh, this is going down worse than the box, isn't it?
The knock-on effect was that Lavender stumbled and lost her thread, starting to apologise to the audience.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Switch.
Live speaking is arguably the hardest challenge in all of Drag Idol, and it's such a shame to see when the stress of it gets to the performer. Thankfully, Lavender found her feet again later with a very funny jab at Plastique.
Plastique is an absolute encyclopedia of Drag Idol knowledge, and that's because elephants never forget.
But was it enough? The main criticism of the judges was the use of parody songs in her performance. This is usually an accepted no-no of the competition, as it is seen as stealing someone else's jokes. I only got away with it in my year because I wrote my own parody. Penny wasn't sure about the number. She loved where it was going to go, and then it didn't, saying that she got bored and that the live just wasn't good. Plastique agreed, saying that the first half of the live was a car crash and she'd expected more from the performance, but pointing out that Lavender's worst number was still better than most of the best numbers from previous years. As is now becoming tradition though, Rusty didn't quite agree, saying that the parodies were great and looking out at the audience they were having a really good time and laughing and smiling along. Lavender admitted that she psyched herself out a bit and got stuck in her own head. It was the return of last week's winner Stacey Rhect next, with the prop of a bride-to-be tiara, reviving their ongoing theme of being Rory's stalker. Stacey took us through a hilarious and twisted trip where they took their love for the judge to, the next level.
Morning, Snowflake. No, it's good. I just want to be as close to you as possible, like John and Yoko. Can't get close enough. Don't you hate that we're two separate people? Just want to burrow into you like a love tick. I want us to be one person, two hearts inside one skin. That's it. I'm gonna cut off your skin and drape it all over my body.
It was fucking brilliant, with psychotic stares aplenty. And culminating in a less than successful wedding ceremony.
Miss Rory.
You take
Stacey Rhect.
to be your lawfully wedded wife.
I don't, you're freaky as fuck.
I laughed so much editing that clip that I almost had to take it out. The live was equally fantastic, with Stacey showing that she's no stranger to stand-up, reading the judges to filth.
Hello, my darling Plastique, how are you? She's just happy to be sat up here on a comfy chair this evening. It's so nice that Make-A-Wish has made it to Newcastle.
And giving us possibly my favourite joke in Drag Idol history that almost broke Rory.
And it's sad that Araphelia ain't here tonight, my darlings. Yeah. She was actually here upstairs, but fucking Rory told her to act her age and she fucking died. Fucking hell, my darlings.
It did stumble slightly at the end, where Stacey seemed unsure how to fill the remaining time, but it didn't deter from the craftsmanship on display. In response, the Psycho from Hull got standing ovations from Penny, Plastique and Rory, with Penny describing her as a crazy bitch and Plastique saying that she encapsulates all that it means to be a drag queen, and that she couldn't fault her. Rusty was equally positive, pointing out that Stacey oozes confidence, and she kept the stalker thing going and it's never got tired. Rory loved the Ophelia gag, as we saw, and stated that Stacey has made the competition for her. It was one of the most interesting props next, Titania Gemini with a garden spade. Before she went on, I sent Velcro to go and speak to her and see how she was doing. Go on, ask her the questions. Christ, okay. I'll do it, but this isn't really how time is supposed to work. Hello, Titania. So, you did live in your week 3 number and that didn't really go well. How are you feeling about doing it tonight?
I'm feeling better about it now. I mean, it went pretty badly week 3. I think I bombed it a little bit, but I'm ready to bring it back this week.
Your prop is a spade. How did drawing that make you feel?
I don't really know what to do with spade. I grabbed it and I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do. I could bury myself a hole and just jump in it, but I figured out a way and I'm hoping it translates and I'm using the prop enough.
And what's your proudest performance so far?
Probably week 2 was like a big triumph for me because it was something a bit different for me. I wanted to do something a bit more old school and I was able to do my research, do my homework and sort of figure out the best number for me that would work.
Thanks for speaking to me, Titania.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me again.
Velcro, get out of my sight now before I break the rules of physics more and your skull along with them. Titania started out the performance putting their prop to good use, digging for treasure at the seaside. I'm getting PTSD flashbacks of doing a seaside number for the semi-finals. Don't look that hot mess up. After some digging, Titania found some dinosaur bones, leading into... Honestly, the number was fairly jumbled, with the song sections lasting just a little bit too long each time, and the narrative being far too basic. It kept the repetitive joke form that Titania had employed in her week 2 number, but here it just felt like padding and not even references to... And even...
What have you found next to Tanya?
Look, I found Maddie.
Could save it, and both fell flat. The key thing here is editing. You only get 3 minutes. Only use the bits of songs you need to tell your story. There should be no filler in a 3-minute performance. The live started off well enough.
When I say Putin, you say cunt! Putin! Cunt! Putin! Cunt! Miss Rory!
But flatlined quickly, with a few too many badly presented digs at Penny T, the other judges, and her fellow contestants. I think more than anything it was the delivery that let her down.
Talking about big issues, how are you doing tonight, Penny? Well, that way knowledge like blue, fucking hell.
Titania seemed more concerned with getting the jokes out than actually giving them the time and gravitas that is all important in comedy. It was a real shame as Titania then, without a pause, went on to discuss a very serious topic that's very close to my own scalp. Alopecia and going bald. The message was obviously very heartfelt, with a friend coming up from the audience and attempting to shave Titania's head with a razor, but once again it was just too fast and no one really knew what was going on. Plastique was the first to comment, saying that the number wasn't good, and the execution was all over the place. Rusty pointed out that after following 5 very strong performances, Titania had gotten so scared that she had just lost all her confidence. Rory and Penny agreed that the performance missed the mark and the live was poor. Finally, we had Mea T Cleaver with the prop of the night, a full-on bicycle. The performance started predictably enough, with Queen's bicycle race playing and Mea seemingly struggling to get onto it with those heels. The song lasted a bit too long, but with Mea doing her utmost best to sell it to the crowd. As it turns out, she was actually just stalling for time as...
You do know how to ride a bike, don't you?
Of course. Can we see you ride it? Okay.
And they say you never forget. But what's that there, in the bushes? It's Chris Howe! Together the two shakily attempted to ride off into the sky, but didn't quite make it on the tiny switchbar stage, but it was hilarious watching them try. I've spoken to Mea since, and we agreed that the bike was the booby trap prop. Whoever got it was going to struggle to use it in a number, and sadly it was Mea that drew the short straw. The live was a bit shaky to start with some risque but fairly tepid jokes. Where it picked up though was when Mea handed out some packs to the judges to play a little game. Mea would make a statement and the judges had to hold up the picture of the judge that the statement most related to, with some obvious answers.
Most likely to offend an entire country.
It was fun and kept everyone engaged throughout. When it came to the judges' critiques, all of them enjoyed the game the most, stating that they would have liked to have played it more and that it could have been the whole of the live section. For the performance, Rusty said that Mea had chosen the wrong footwear and looked like Michael Jackson. That's yet another ambiguous compliment from Rusty there. Rory sympathised with the unfortunate prop and said that the number was a bit too drawn out, but what more could be done with a bike? And with that, we'd seen all the performances, and it was time for the judges to make their decisions. Only 4 contestants can make it to the final, so out of those that were left, 3 would be getting the chop. Before I tell you who though, here's some of my highlights. Bonnie and Ben's live was phenomenal. It was filled with a proficiency that you don't usually see in the crucible of a drag competition. The pair have got everything, and even terms like triple threat seem insufficient for them. They've got the moves, the looks, the jokes, the timing, the editing, the presence, and the acting ability. They are even so professional that they somehow don't look out of place on a stage much, much smaller than what they should be on. Skankii KandL also deserves a mention, as while I loved her as Vicky Pollard in week 2, this was my favourite performance of hers. She was so in her element and the theme and execution fit like a glove. The live wasn't brilliant by any standard, but it wasn't bad. And of course, Lavender Love with yet another brilliant idea for a number that I felt flowed really well. I don't mind parodies and thought that they were great and really fitted in, but I'm not a judge in Drag Idol, and it's an unwritten rule of the competition that you just don't use other people's parody songs. So, what was my performance of the night? Well, hands down it has to go to Stacey Rhect. That was hilarious, like pain-inducingly funny, with near perfect execution in both the performance and the live. The little psycho head tilts and stares, the comedic timing, the use of samples, and that Ophelia joke. If you can make Rory genuinely laugh, then you know you're good. We're into spoiler territory now though, so if you don't want to know who wins and which 3 contestants go home, please like, subscribe, comment and share and switch off. If however you're a brave little spoon that digs passionately at the zesty rind of adventure, here's the tea. Performance of the week went to Bonnie and Ben Dover with their incredible pizza/most haunted numbers. There's not much more to say about it that hasn't already been said, but you really should watch the full number at the link in the description below, as it is one of the highlights of 15 years of Drag Idol, and includes this gag that I laughed at maybe a bit too much.
And I'm delicate Cora. And I'm a medium. And a large in some shots.
Eventually the performers were called back to the stage and the judges' decisions announced by Peter, making it through to the final of Drag Idol 2022 with the opportunity to perform at the Boulevard stage and a shot at the cash prize were Bonnie and Ben, Stacey Rhect, Laila Sagittaria and Skankii KandL, leaving Titania Gemini, Mea T Cleaver and Lavender Love to leave the competition. The crowd wasn't going to let them go quietly though, with loud chants of their names as they left the stage to show just how much they were loved and would be missed.
You can watch this particular show on YouTube.
And that's it. All that's left is the final next Sunday at Boulevard in Newcastle. Tickets are available at dragidol.co.uk, but by the time this episode goes out, they're probably going to be sold out. You can try though. In the final, the contestants get near unlimited time for their performances, bringing back one of their previous numbers from the competition that they can expand upon for the big stage, and also having to do a new number about absolutely anything they want. The stakes are high, and the numbers are punctuated by performances by the legendary Danny D and her Broadway dancers. It promises to be an amazing night, and I'll be there for what will be the final episode of Snatch Talk for Drag Idol 2022. Before the semi-finals were over though, we had one last judge to speak to, and I'm regretting this already. We sent Velcro to speak to the Queen of Comedy herself, Miss Rory. What do you mean you're scared? Just because she's like 10'5" before she puts her heels on doesn't stop you asking some questions. Just pluck up the courage and speak to her.
Well, actually, I think it's been the best competition so far, really, in all of the years that we've been peddling this rubbish. I think this is, it's absolutely, the phrase that's been used tonight is stellar, and it has been. It has been absolutely wonderful. I don't know how it keeps getting better and better, but it does. And, it's the contestants who make the competition, and me.
We are so cancelled. Listen, Velcro, you Poundland Nosferatu. Ask her about which of
I
the...
suppose you'd probably quite like to know which contestant I can see doing this professionally. Well, I think, actually, they've all done it quite professionally. They are all professionals in my eyes. They've all done very well. I know some of them have already got a bit of a turn going on somewhere, but I think they could all... I would sit and watch this show as like a punter, rather than somebody who's getting paid to endure it.
The live-action Cats was less painful to watch than this.
You probably, again, now want to know if I could give them any advice for the final. Just keep doing what they're doing and do it well. But the thing is with the final, right, they've got to be bigger and bolder and better because it's a big stage to fill. So they're going to have to go out there and basically fill that space. And there's no rules. They could have more people on with them, they could do a full-scale spectacular production, or, I don't know. Because I couldn't do what they're doing, I think they're very, very good. Do you agree? That's good, yeah.
Thank you for speaking to us, Miss Rory.
Yeah. I have no fucking idea who this is. You're not right.
And that's your lot. I'm going to go and run Velcro a bath and bring the toaster up from downstairs to share it with her. Thank you very much for watching Snatch Talk. I've been the Velvet Snatch. See you at the final. Goodbye. Velcro.